So I looked up something funny. What are the number one topics that we talk about, or the top topics that we talk about in politics today? And then I went ahead and went 100 years back, 200 years back, and 300 years back. So the list is kind of interesting, and especially when you see the thread that ties them all together. In 1720s, 300 years ago, the top topics to discuss was self-governance, whether the colonies should have a little bit more autonomy and self-governance because we were owned by England at the time, land expansion and territorial expansion, and the relations with Native Americans and slavery. Then in the 1820s, the expansion of slavery is the number one topic, and then federal and state rights and the conflict that the two of them have of who should be number one was huge. And then the expansion out west was a very big topic. In the 1920s, we don't go to territory anymore because the United States didn't grow anymore really after the 1920s as far as territories go. But immigration was the number one topic. And of course, the different groups of immigrants, whether they were Italians or Jews or whatever they might be, was the red hot topic. And then women, because women were getting the vote, and then the size of business and whether big, huge, gigantic businesses known as trusts should be as gigantic as they were. And then now, when I looked up the top two topics, it's immigration, and we know all about all that because of all the ICE crazy stuff, and inflation. Now there's more. There's the list goes on, but top topics were those. And the one thread that you can tie together, if you ever play that silly game Connections on New York Times games, is race. That is a common thread of what we talked about and what we talk about for the last 300 years. An interesting lesson. And remember, the past whispers to us all of the time if we'll just listen.